Recently, I happened to see a poster on the wall as I was just going with the three words of caption. One is change, development, and another one is the name of a politician. So, this politician wants to tell the society that change is possible only with him or with his efforts. And through change, he wants to bring development in the society. Whether it's possible or not, that is not our concern. But the only concern is the very word development has become watchword of modernity. So we know what is the meaning of development. So development means qualitative and quantitative improvement in every sphere of life. So it is considered as a sign and symbol of civilization, strengthened by the enormous amount of information provided by the developing natural and human resources. Modernity today set out to conquer systematically every area of human existence. Thus, today, development is considered as dominion over nature. However, we must also understand that nature resists dominion and strives to preserve every domain of cosmos, both the material and the non-material aspects. Yet, nature has been subject to minute experimentation using better and ever more efficient scientific apparatus in the name of development. Development is also a result of various processes and sub-process of interactions of various economic, political, cultural, environmental and social elements. So environment is one of the elements which is directly related with development. Development without environment considerations can cause serious environmental damage, impairing the quality of life of present and future generations. But today, there is a common feeling of gratification existing in India that Indians enjoy cleaner air with more forests and less of smoke emitted by industries than in the West. People in India think that environmental issue is not a serious concern. This may be due to lack of realization about the alarming proportions of the environmental problems and its urgency today. In the first place, we could say that a whole range of questions regarding environmental issues are related to the destruction of nature and the pollution of the environment with their consequences. The massive deforestation in India cause floods which affect the existence of the people. Denuding the forest and felling of trees upon the soil affect the capacity to hold back and arrest the flow of water that cause soil erosion. It is also true that massive deforestation leads to desertification of lands and consequently causes the serious disturbance of environment due to the spate of idle projects, construction of powerhouses. Today, many projects in India get realized at the cost of area of forest, triggering disturbance to wildlife and causing displacement of lakhs and lakhs of traditional inhabitants. There are also massive deleterious effects produced by the growing process of industrialization in India, which are considered to be hallmarks of development. This results in the pollution of the basic elements of human life like air, water, and land. We also witness these days the discharge of unrated effluents from many industrial and chemical factories which flow into rivers, leading to decline in fish yields. Similarly, different kinds of effluents from growing industries turn agricultural and fertile lands into barren ones, wrecking the life of the poor farmers and affecting the domestic animals like cattle. It also becomes inevitable in India that the chemical effluence seeps into the ground, turning the drinking water of wells into saline water, which is not safe for drinking. A prominent environmental issue in India is of the interdiction of natural resources. Access to natural resources is one of the fundamental rights that people enjoy. Today, the people, especially the poorest of the poor, have been barred from having access to natural resources. For instance, the process of industrialization and the depletion of natural resources to feed the factories leave the poor in India empty and hungry. They are increasingly deprived of the resources on which they traditionally depend upon for their livelihood. They become alien to basic needs like food, firewood, cooking energy, fodder for cattle, and the raw materials for handicrafts. Thus, the poor become helpless and hopeless. The forests from where the poor collect firewood, the common fields where they could let their cattle graze or collect fodder have been denied to them. The natural resources in India have become the possessions of the privileged groups or of the government. These environmental issues in India create inevitably an impact on the lives of the people in the name of the development. So, today, what is our response to this kind of development which causes environmental issues? Now, we have to create an ethical response to this developmental impact on environment. Humankind must be able to understand the urgent need for environmental balance. And environmental ethics has to be created on the basis of the respect for other and acceptance of diversity and solidarity and on the values of uniqueness which will help people to dethrone the dominant utilitarian paradigm that is so serious a threat to life and peace among the creatures in nature. Hence, an ethical response demands ethical concerns which need to be highlighted in the process of sustainable development. In this process, it is the moral duty of human beings to protect the rights of the other non-human parts of the environmental system. We know that pain is an evil, whether inflicted on human or non-humans. All natural species of fauna and flora, including a lake, a wild river, a mountain, and even the entire biotech community has a right to have its integrity, stability, and beauty preserved. It is also appealed that possession of inhabitable and clean environment is our birthright. Interfering in the right of other people should be made punishable under the legal system. Thus, a new understanding of ethics with a culture of responsibility must be implemented to promote sustainable development with environmental stability. It is clear that the impact of development on environment generates a perennial environmental crisis. This kind of crisis has been brought forth by a baneful model of development. This model of development is appropriating science and technology to economic ends and political domination. It cannot be solved by minor technical solutions. The basic requirement to find a reasonable solution is to the present environmental crisis lies in promoting a basic reorientation in understanding human progresses and in defining human needs. Human progress and fundamental needs should be impregnated with ethical consideration. There should be a radical shift from the conventional understanding of human development in terms of both the quantity and quality. For instance, development cannot be materialized without considerations of justice and equality. It entails the production of essential goods to satisfy the needs of the many, rather than to squander the resources of nature or energy in gratifying the greed of the few. There has been a search to find alternative models of development which could be inclusive and environmental. It also leads to a much greater recognition of the importance of locating development in the heart of the local community in line with sustainable development. Hence, environment is a vital constituent of the question of development. Anyone concerned about sustainable development cannot but involve himself or herself in the environmental question, whether it be the destruction of nature or the deprivation of the poor from their resources. No one can extricate himself or herself from the responsibility toward environment and from action for justice, which is a constitutive part of the proclamation of environmental values. We should involve ourselves in the work of inculcating respect for nature and promoting the responsibility towards the conservation of the environment. Our approach should be one in which the divine mystery is experienced in our deep communion with nature. In this sense, our concern and involvement in environment demands can be a bridge or mediation between our spirituality and commitment to justice. Here, we must remember the words of Leonard the Boff, a theologian and writer known for his active support for the rights of the poor and excluded, currently serving as a professor emeritus of ethics. He beautifully says, "The planet becomes a great sacrament of God, the temple of the Spirit, the place of creative responsibility for human beings, a dwelling place for all beings created in love."